Good morning. Hedge funds are profiting from all troubles. Corona Vaccine Watch added another phase 3 participant, and the New York Times declares millions of renters are on the brink of disaster. Today's guest, Aaron Metaj, multifamily finance guru from Northwind Financial. He is a genius who is not afraid to share his opinions. You're going to love him. I am your host, Todd Phillips. Power 30 starts now. Hedge funds from the New York Times New York Times calls out hedge funds who have been profiting off the demise of shopping malls. Carl Icahn reportedly has already made $1.3 billion shorting CMBS using CMBX6, an index highly exposed to shopping mall loans, according to a Bloomberg article. I have also been doing my part to support Mr. Icahn by avoiding malls myself, but I did that before the pandemic. On a related note, National Real Estate Investor reported on 10 well-known retailers that haven't paid their rent. The list includes Justice, Lane Bryant, Chuck E. Cheese, Regal Cinemas, Victoria's Secret, AMC Theaters, 24-Hour Fitness, The Gap, Foot Locker, Bath & Body Works. I avoided the jokes about Chuck E. Cheese, but I can't help myself here. They are really taking a bath at Bath & Body Works. Multifamily REITs are holding up well after an early pandemic drop, according to research from our own equities desk managed by Jackson Phillips. This chart shows that local favorite iREIT has fared the best, while Sam Zell's equity residential brings up the rear, but overall in good shape. As for our Corona report, rather than report on how many people test positive every day like CNN does, my contribution to the World Happiness Meter. Oh, hi, Aaron. Wrong button. There we go. I'm good, thank you. Hold tight, we'll finish news. This week's New York Times vaccine update shows there are now 9 vaccines in phase 3 trials, while 2 are approved for limited use. Phase 3 means that these vaccines do, in fact, trigger an immune system response in humans, reportedly without significant adverse side effects. Not a doctor, but it sounds pretty darn good. On a related note, my freshman daughter is coming home from college today after just 1 week of classes because members of the girls and boys lacrosse teams, as well as members of the football team, have been quarantined for the next 14 days. If you are long on student housing, you might want to rethink that position. Lastly, the San Francisco Chronicle is reporting that tech company Pinterest has agreed to pay a one-time fee of $89.5 million to get out of a 490,000 square foot lease in a yet-to-be-built building in central south of Market, San Francisco. They were the only tenant committed to the project. Let me say that again, $90 million just to get out of a lease in a building that wasn't even finished yet. Pinterest is just the latest tech company rethinking its use of office space, as Facebook and Salesforce are allowing massive numbers of employees to work remotely. Reportedly for the next decade, Twitter and Square are allowing almost all employees to work remotely forever. In related news, I have heard places like Utah, Montana, and Texas are crawling with Teslas sporting California license plates. I want to shout out to our parent company, RE Journals, who hosted 2 live events last week, property management event in Minnesota, an industrial event in Indiana, right at the Illinois border on Lake Michigan. Right around 100 people actually showed up, masked up, turned out live to each event, while more than that number looked on remotely. Some speakers also joined the live panels via remote feed, which is pretty damn cool if you ask me. COVID doesn't have to keep you from learning, growing, and networking. Stay tuned to rejournals.com for more. Let's get to our guest. See if I can do this right. There he is. You all see him live now.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
And the names came across the screen. I had to learn how to use Adobe After Effects over the last 2 weeks, and it's way harder than it looks. But I managed to get your name and my name up on the screen.
Terrific.
All right, let's dig in because we only got 30 minutes for the show. So, Aaron, tell me a little bit more about your lending platform, types of deals, size of deals, etc., and what's going on at Northwinds.
For sure. Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you very much for bringing me on today. But first of all, shout out to you. I love the Led Zeppelin remix as the opener. That was very cool. Very cool. I enjoyed that. But anyway, Northwind Financial. I've been on the panel a number of times with you. Truly enjoyed it. We started about early to mid-April, and then we stayed very consistent doing a number of these, and getting through this. So, Northwind Financial, we are a direct bridge lender. People ask us, they say, what's the difference between Northwind and Red Oak Capital, who's also part of us? Red Oak Capital is actually our parent company. We're going to be rolling that up. It's a long story. But Red Oak Capital, those are our funds. That is how we raise our money through bonds on Bloomberg. And I won't go into that too much. I'll talk about the collateralization or the deployment of our capital and how we lend our money. So we are a direct bridge lender. We always have been. And what we look for, we're very unique, we're very niche-y. We look for projects that need rehab, renovation, build out. We're a stabilization loan. And what we do is we look for those projects, we stabilize them, and then we obviously look for a local takeout bank. But something's happened during COVID that's very exciting that I'd like to announce. We announced a couple weeks ago, and that we have taken on a new CEO, Gary Bechtel from Money 360. Gary and I have been close friends for the last couple of years. I won't go into the details of that, but it all worked out, and we are all very, very excited. So what does that mean for everyone listening? It means that we're going to have some new and creative and very exciting loan programs coming out. Right now, we had the 1-year note. We're going to go to 2 years and possibly beyond. Bridge lender will be able to increase our interest reserve for payments from 9 months to maybe even 18. And there's going to be a lot of cool changes coming out in the next, I'd say, 30 to 60 days. So I could talk forever about, what we're doing and the things that have been going through COVID, but I'll turn it back over to you, Todd, because I think that's a pretty good opening as to who we are and what we're doing.
Well, that's exciting. That's good stuff. I know you're primarily multifamily right now.
Right now we are. So our flight to quality and our flight to safety as soon as COVID hit. So we did the strip centers, we did the office buildings. Obviously, when COVID hit, everybody was on lockdown. And the nice part about the way we raise capital is we stayed liquid through COVID. We because of the fact that we raise our money through fixed rate funds, we stayed liquid. We kept raising capital. We sat down as a group, and as I've mentioned many times on the RE Journal webinars, we had some very late nights. And what are we going to do? We're going to halt lending. We're going to reduce lending. We're going to change our guidelines. And really, at the end of the day, because we've been through 08 and 09, it was, hey, we have a flight to quality, we have a flight to safety, and that's multifamily. The first two things people spend their money on, food and housing. Well, we don't lend money on food. So people are going to pay for having a roof over their head. And we were right. I wouldn't say we bet on it. I mean, we did a lot of research and, just look back and, we talked a lot about and researched a lot about what are we going to do. And we went full steam ahead. We have been closing multifamilies all the way through. And I will say, and I'm not just saying this because I'm your guest today, but being on the regional RE Journal panels, and then I also did national panels, and just having the ability to talk to other business owners and other brokers and lenders and people in the business. And sometimes, Todd, we didn't always agree, but that was okay because what it led to were some very healthy conversations. And then me going back and doing more research and talking to my partners and finding out, hey, what direction should we continue to go or make a change? But a lot of healthy conversations throughout all this. But yes, at the end of the day, and still to this day, we are lending on multifamily, and we are now more aggressive than ever. We're filling all of our funds with multifamily because they are performing so well.
Yeah, that's cool. It's been great to have you on panels, I got to say, too, because not many people everybody tries to be politically correct these days, and you and I have strong opinions about the economy and haven't. I feel like I've been able to let my guard down, so let's do that today.
Sure.
So one quick follow-up on what you started with. Have you closed a deal during COVID that was got under contract, inked, like the whole process during COVID?
Many, and we've actually posted them on LinkedIn. So if you go to my page, you'll see we've closed a lot of projects, multifamily, all the way through COVID. We are right now. I did the site visits. I caught a virus. I did not present the same symptoms. I'm going to full disclosure here, but I traveled through COVID. I took every precaution. I have not been sick, but I still did the site visits, and I still did whatever was needed to be done. My political party is the economy. We run a business. Okay, that's my political party, and I'm not going to take a side here today. But my main concern is that we've lost focus of all of the people that are losing their companies. And yes, I have a sensitivity to the elderly, to pre-existing conditions. I have them in my family. Those are the ones we should focus on. But all of our data should be on the mortality rate and how many bankruptcies are being filed in every state, in every county. Seriously. But we need to look at COVID, and we need to look at it. And because I've been able to travel, when I traveled, Todd, we talked about this. I would ask questions like Nashville, traveled to Nashville. I traveled outside of Nashville to Memphis. So you go Tennessee, they opened up, 6 weeks ago by county based on their data. And I think that's what, every governor should look at and not make this political. And we know, and I'm in Michigan, that some governors, and they've said it without saying it, they're being a little tougher than they need to be, and then they're going and jumping on the news stations. And I'm not being negative towards a specific political party. My political party is the economy and finance, period.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So let's dive into that. So we had this discussion for people who weren't following yours and my careers over the last 4 months, but we talked in April. Hey, this is the last good month for rents. Then we talked in May. This will be the last month for rent collections. Then in June. And now the government money is starting to, I don't know what's going on with the president's thing and what's going on with Congress, but I was reading National Real Estate Investor. They said headlines, millions of renters are on the brink of disaster. Where are we at? Are we on the brink, or are we going to, September going to be another good month?
It's balanced, Todd. It's balanced, right? So if you have a state that is shut down, and because of the fact that the unemployment benefits, the stimulus package benefits, obviously 2 weeks ago have expired, and that state shut down, that person doesn't have income. So you have to have balance. We need another stimulus package if we're going to stay shut down. And that means the unemployment checks. I will say this, and I've said this many times, you can go to YouTube channel and the RE Journals. I am not pro-government, but I will say the one good thing both sides did, they pumped the economy with liquidity. And that's what got us through this. Those stimulus packages were needed. I think there were a few mistakes made, but listen, if you err on the side of liquidity, that's okay, because you even saw some of the unemployment. See, the first Friday of every month, you get the unemployment report, right? Those reports came back the last two much better. Why? Because you had PPP, disaster relief. That's for the employers. Then you have unemployment. So what they did was they pumped both the employers and the employees with liquid, so that there's two things that you have to have, right? You have to have consumer confidence, and you have to have disposable income. You have to have those two things. If you don't have that, you don't have an economy, period, point blank. And that's what the government did right for once in their lives. So now what do we have? We're starting to see, because of this fight right before the election, we're starting to see the liquidity basically dry up. And that's where people are becoming afraid that even multifamily will start to see some defaults. And that would be a big, big problem.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't get to that. I remember when PPP came out, or CARES Act, and I was on the phone with our CEO, Jeff Johnson. I'm like, you're not going to believe this, but our government actually did something absolutely brilliant. And then I found out later that they were copying Europe, but I'll take it, right? It was a good
We'll
move.
take what we can get.
All right, let's move. So I've got a guest coming on in 3 weeks who's an economist who came out with this idea of a K-shaped recovery, meaning we're going to recover by sectors. Some sectors haven't even felt a bump in the road. Some sectors are taking off. Amazon's doing great. Target, Walmart are doing great. But airlines, hotels, restaurants, not so much. So when I look at that and it goes into the overall economy and I think about people paying rent, every little sector matters if you want to have 95% rent collections or 93 or 97. You can't have struggling sectors. So what are your thoughts? What's going to take to get everything back up? What do we need to do?
Let's start at the end and work backwards. We have to open up. The problem we have is that we have election coming up, and there's going to be the battle of all battles until November 3rd. So we know we're not going to completely open up, but hospitality, entertainment, they are getting killed. There's no other word for it, right? And when we spoken before on these panels, you also have to throw in the airlines because it's such a big sector of our economy, and that the reservations were down 97%. When I was traveling, I was one of 5, one of 7, one of 10 people. This is back during the height of COVID. On the plane, I was one of 3 people in the hotel. So those 2 and those 3 major sectors in our economy, those are the ones that everyone is really worried about. Now, let's talk about strip centers and office buildings. Office buildings, we hear companies continue to say that people are going to work from home. I'll tell you that in our office, people got tired of working from home. Like at first, the first month, you could tell it was great, but we weren't as productive. I can tell you that. And then at some point, people are like, hey, listen, I kind of tired of being in my house. I want to come back in the office. I think we're going to get back to that. Obviously, tech companies in California, it's a little different working remotely from home. I don't think, I think they can get away with a little more just by the way they're set up. But I think most businesses, number one, I think to be as productive as you need to be, it helps to be in the office. It has for us, number one. Number two, I think in time you're going to see most people say, all right, I want to get back to my normal lifestyle. I want to get back to getting in the office, working as a team, and working to those common goals of every company has their struggles. Like every company during COVID has the good, the bad, and the ugly, unless you're Amazon, right? Or a grocery store that's just doing amazing. But if we don't get another stimulus package, even some of those will start to feel it. So you go from hospital entertainment, strip centers and office buildings, and then from there you go to multifamily. So these next 30, 60 days, and I always said this in April, May, like these next 30 days, but these next 30, 60 days before the election are vital to our economy and the health of our economy. And I think everybody's starting to understand that this has all gone on too long, and with no stimulus package, there are some very scared people out there, and they should be. They absolutely should be.
Yeah, I agree. Whoa, hang on. What happened? There we go. I'm still learning the buttons as we go. F6 means we get to see both of us. I'm in total agreement on that. I feel like, though, we're in this kind of no-win ethics argument that I had in law school, or that I had in undergrad too. Like this discussion about the needs of the many outweigh the few versus anything to help one individual. So I understand where all these medical people are coming from. If you're in a hospital setting, you'll do anything at your disposal to save that one life that comes into the ER, right? In a car accident or whatever. It's anything you can possibly do. But when you extrapolate that to the whole country, that's a discussion that we're not used to having. It's different from that we just can't have as an everyday family. Is it worthwhile to shut down the economy to save one life? Is a really difficult and no-win discussion, because both sides are right. Both sides, their heart's in the right place. Both sides are looking to the present and looking to the future. But I don't know. Is there a winner to that argument? Does it all just go away after the election? Does it go away after we get a vaccine? Where do we go from here?
Well, I think, first of all, one death is too many. No, and I completely agree with that. Like I said, I have family members that are in the elderly situation that had COVID. We have some family members with, pre-existing conditions. So I get that. And I think once again, you have to find a balance. The balance is this: pre-existing conditions, elderly, people living with the elderly, they have to be contained. They have to take every precaution and be contained so that, again, one death is too many. Now, on the flip side of the coin, we have a mortality rate of less than 0.5%, and we have an economy out there, and we have tens of thousands of businesses across the country going broke, bankruptcies at an all-time high, reorganizations all-time high. We have to find a way sooner than later before the election to find that balance of containment of the high risk and get this economy rolling ASAP. Because what people forget, for every company that shuts down, that goes out of business, they have several suppliers. It's all layered. So if that company goes under, then their suppliers don't obviously have the revenue coming in from them. And how many suppliers can handle 2, 3, and 4 of their customers going out of business? So then they go under, then their suppliers go under. We can't have that happen, and it's starting to happen, and it's happening. And we have to find a way to open up with all of the safety measures possible, and that healthy balance to get this economy going and stop making this political. Because if you go too far with this, it will make 2008 and 2009 look like a good time. And I was part of that. I had a company with 110 people. So I know what it's like. And that's why I speak from the heart. And I speak so passionately on these calls. I had a company, we were at a very, very large company and 110 people. We had to shut down. I mean, there's just nothing left in the economy. But this is much bigger than that, because we are shutting down so many businesses right now that just can't get through and can't make it through. So it is a delicate conversation. It is a very delicate situation, but we have the people and we have the minds to figure this out. We're just not doing it.
Yeah, I got to agree with that point. Hey, we're moving forward in time here on the show. So we're going to take a break and do something fun. Anybody that has questions for Aaron, you can ask questions on our YouTube channel if you're watching us there now. You can also tweet us at @Power30Show. Send us a tweet. I'll get those on too. Or ask a question. But we're going to start. Next thing we're going to do is have a little bit of fun. So Aaron and I decided to play a game. We're going to tell each other dad jokes. If the other person laughs, you get a point. Okay, so right now I got 0. Aaron's got 0. Okay. If I tell a joke and he laughs, I get 1. He tells a joke. We're going to go up to 5, and we're going to take turns. I will start. Let's see. I got to find mine. Okay, here we go. Ready for this? You can't look away from the camera either. No cheating.
Yeah, with my straight face. I will not laugh unless I promise.
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
How does a train eat? It goes choo choo. No?
Nope.
Okay. All right, your turn.
All right, ready? If you see a crime at an Apple store, does it make you an eyewitness?
All right. I'll give you 1 for that. Let me make sure the score showed up there. Oh, it did. My little tricks are working. All right. Why are horse-drawn carriages so unpopular? Because horses are bad at drawing.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
All right, one
All
each.
Right. 1 each. All right. What did the fish say when he hit the wall? Damn.
I'm not good at not laughing. I have to practice. I have to get practiced up. Okay. Why did the old man fall in the well? Because he couldn't see that well.
Okay, I'll give you that one. That's a good one. All right, ready? This is one because you're a musician. I think you'll enjoy.
Okay.
What concert costs just 45 cents?
You got me.
50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
I can't.
There you go.
All right. What's the best thing about living in Switzerland? I don't
Not
know,
the
but
one.
I don't know, but the flag is a big plus.
Okay. All right. I like Switzerland joke.
What do we got
All
here?
right.
Is that the right score? You got 3, I got 2, right?
That's
Going
right.
backwards. There we
Yep.
go. I think we got it.
All right. I'm going to go this. I was going to save this one for last, but I'm going to see if I can get to 4 with this one. This is my favorite. What do you call cheese that isn't yours?
I don't know.
Nacho cheese. I laugh. You should get a point because I laughed too. I like that one.
Why? There's a restaurant I love to go to. It's called Nacho Mamas,
Yeah.
and they
That's
serve
good.
nachos. So I'm in on that one. All right, last one for me.
All right.
What happens when you watch a shipwreck? You just let it sink in.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's good.
All right, for the win.
Ready?
Yep.
How do you make a tissue dance? You put a little boogie in it. I Googled those, by the way. It was the 60 best dad jokes. So I literally spent as much time on my dad jokes as I did preparing for the other 25 minutes, just so you know. Oh, that was fun.
I have a backup. What's the difference between a Hippo and a Zippo? One's a little lighter.
There you go. There you go. You knew we were going to get some lighter in there.
Right?
That's good. That was good.
All right. I'm looking at questions from the audience. Here we go. Aaron, when do you think things get back to normal? What is our normalcy date?
Well, and I hate the phrase new normal. I hate it. It's gonna take a while. The first thing is we have to get through the election. Both sides are. I mean, we've never seen anything like this, and I hate to bring politics into every question, but it's a significant factor in our economics and our economy. We need a vaccine. Okay, then we need people to trust the vaccine. We've got a tough road ahead of us, and then we got to get through defaults and figure out. Hopefully, lenders are communicating with their clients, their borrowers. There's a lot of work to do, guys. There's a lot of work to do, and not just in commercial real estate, across the board. And it's going to take everyone. Honestly, a type of normal with we get a vaccine by the end of the year.
I agree with that.
Take a
November,
year.
December, they're going to say, here's the vaccine, and we authorized 100,000 doses for critical care workers. They might, Trump's trying to do it before the election. But then, like you mentioned, we get into this, I don't trust the vaccine.
Right. And you have, that's a legitimate concern.
Right.
And then we need a stimulus package. We need a good, smart stimulus package, one that stretches itself out. And don't put too much money into unemployment. I think we have to motivate the business, the employees to get back to work, because there were situations the way they had it set up where more money was being made, obviously collect unemployment. But we have to stretch this out, understand the PPP, understand the disaster relief, and we have to focus on consumer confidence. I'll give you one example. You can't have 350 Waffle Houses shut down. That may sound so simplistic, and that may sound like what is this guy talking about? But consumer confidence, when you're traveling, you're driving from state to state, whether it be for kids' sports or for vacation, and they're all shut down, that affects you mentally. And that's just one of many examples. Department stores that you've always shopped. Like you and I, a lot of us don't shop on Amazon. We like to go to the store. If our favorite store shuts down, that sends shockwaves. So there's just the stimulus package, along with the vaccine. We've got to focus on consumer confidence and disposable income. And the businesses, of course, the businesses. But we got a lot of work to do, a lot.
My 2 cents is football with fans. The day we have a pro football game with people in the stands is when things are. Someone said next normal. Okay, whatever. But that's the day when I feel like, okay, the economy's back on track.
Agreed. Completely.
All right.
Agreed.
Well, we're out of time. I promised to keep the show to 30 minutes, so they're bite-sized chunks. You and I could talk all day. We'll have to have you on again. This is a great
Love
time. We're going to sign out. Play that Zeppelin song one more time on the way
Let's
out
do
the
it.
door. All right. See ya.
Bring your speakers up.